Sets the tone for our next presentation, a brand which literally became iconic thanks to the out-of-home initiatives that they've been doing for the past 50 years. And out of those 50 years, almost 19 years, Mr. Pavan Kumar has been associated with it. And we have him here to make a presentation. Mr. Pavan Kumar, AGM Marketing, Amul. Can we please have a loud round of applause? He's going to be speaking on can OH create an iconic brand. And I was kind of curious. I said, where were you before this? So he's like, 19 years career. I've been with Amul. So besides creating iconic brands, it also creates, the brand creates a lot of loyalty for sure, both for the agency as far as also the personnel that are associated with it. Look forward to a great presentation.
Thank you, Suparna. I'll just take a second to set it up. Good afternoon. I'm sure it's a dream and the ultimate ambition of a lot of agencies present here, both from the media as well as the creative agencies of any, to use your professional skills and expertise and create a brand for your client, which ultimately goes on to achieve iconic status. So that's a question that you can see on the screen over there. And without wasting any further time and cutting a potentially long presentation short, let me try and answer this question in the very next slide itself. And the answer is sorry to disappoint a lot of guys here. As we all know, the game of brand building has never been very media specific, right? And we also know that brands are built the very same way that we work on building our human relationships, correct? And we all know how, from our own personal experiences and life experiences, how we go around building our interpersonal relationships. Relationships are built by committing and staying committed, by making realistic promises and sticking by them, and demonstrating that we care. But to get a relationship started, to get a relationship going in the first place, what you need are opportunities to meet, to connect, to engage, and to attract. And as a brand owner, as a brand custodian, I would be the first one to acknowledge that out-of-home advertising provides the maximum number of opportunities to meet and connect with our TG, which is our customers. And so many options start from the traditional, and I guess everyone in this hall here is an expert on this field and you know much about the subject than I do, and there are so many options available. One thing I would readily acknowledge about out-of-home advertising, which is that here technology combines very beautifully and very effectively with creativity to deliver amplified impact. And there's no limit, there's no end to the kind of number of opportunities that we get out of home of connecting to our TG. You have so many things happening all around us. We can see it all around us, from petrol pumps to entire buildings being wrapped, from taxi brandings. You have aircraft seats, bus seats, entire trains. And as I was driving to this venue, I could see a lot of these metro trains, with full branding on them. And there are no boundaries to innovation either. You have mall doors and elevators and lifts and big, huge, gigantic standees, huge signage drops which you can see all around you. And there are no limits in terms of innovation which has been put into this field. Digital screens are everywhere, in restaurants, in malls, in multiplexes, in offices, even in retail stores. After all, we also understand as clients that our customers spend more than 13 hours every day out of home. And on the balance, 11 hours they spend inside their homes, 6 to 7 hours spent in sleeping. So obviously, there's a lot of pressure on time available to read newspaper, watch television, which is quite obvious. And out of home, when our TG is on the move, there are many more opportunities to connect, to meet, and to engage. No wonder in recent years, the trend that we have observed, and we as clients are keeping a close watch on this, out-of-home media, out-of-home advertising, along with digital and radio, are the ones which are really holding strong, while the conventional giants, the print and the television, are the ones which have slipped slightly in terms of growth rates. As a brand owner, as a brand custodian, one thing I would definitely acknowledge is, in terms of attracting attention, there's nothing better than out-of-home advertising. The combination of creativity with technology has that power to dazzle and attract. Look at this case of branding on luggage belts in airports. The entire train being used as a shade card for a very popular brand of paints in India. Look at this standee, massive standee of a coffee brand which has aromatic vapor coming out of the top. So very innovative and very creative options here. As far as attracting attention is concerned, yes, outdoor media delivers and delivers very, very well. But as we all know, building a relationship goes well beyond the initial attraction. Building a relationship requires that we should be able to not only attract attention, but also hold attention. Not just fleeting interest, but we should be able to generate enduring interest. There has to be some kind of intrinsic charm in the offer, maybe a certain kind of cuteness. Of course, to keep a relationship going, we need a recurring sense of excitement and anticipation. A sense of humor, a good, clever sense of humor always helps. And of course, long-distance relationships are an exception to the rule. Actually, if you want to keep a relationship going for a long time, it's best to be around most of the time, if not all the time. And of course, long-term commitment. So, our own campaign, the Amul topical campaign, if it has managed to achieve iconic status, it is only because it has been able to deliver on all these aspects and more. It started way back in 1966, so that was almost 50 years ago, and for the last 50 years, almost non-stop, week after week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes even 3 times a week, commenting on the most current, top-of-mind issue facing our society, our nation, or sometimes even the world, in a humorous and witty manner. Now, that's the key. And most important of all, doing all this and also being able to sync it with the brand. So, if the campaign has been successful, it's because we've been able to deliver on all this. And the archives of 50 years are available on our website, amul.com. Anyone going through the archives will get a sense of the history of post-independence India, at least from 1960s onwards. It is widely recognized as one of the longest running outdoor campaigns in the entire world. 5 decades. It covers topics very diverse as politics, to cricket, to Bollywood, films, to international affairs, and also some of the more serious ones. Not to mention our popular television soaps, and also some more serious women's issues, and daily challenges faced by our citizens in this country. All kind of crises, from natural to economic. So you can see the dimensions covered in this campaign are topicality, being top of mind, relevance, the witty humor used gives us that sense of smartness, and of course longevity. So, what it has really helped to do, it has helped to keep our brand fresh, relevant, and contemporary to every new generation coming up in the last 5 decades. A very popular, very much loved mascot. She was born in 1966, continues to be a very cute 5-year-old even today. And she has kept us young, she has kept us vibrant, energetic over 50 years. Well, the inherent element of topicality, which is a part of this campaign, which is inherently built in this campaign, that is what gives us this sense of smartness, and that the humor helps. And we, of course, with every new generation coming up, we still manage to be seen as fresh and yet strike a chord right here at the heart. If there's one takeout that I would like the agencies to take back from here, from this presentation, it would be, if this campaign has worked, it is because of one and one thing only, which is consistency. Consistency over a very long period of time. Consistency in strategizing, consistency in execution. What has really helped is stability in the core team handling the campaign. This campaign was actually conceptualized in 1966 by one of the dons of Indian advertising industry. His name is Sylvester Jakuna. Even today, he heads the agency. In 2014 also, he heads the agency which handles this campaign. From the client side, out of these 50 years, 40 years, this brand was championed personally by none other than the legendary Dr. Verghese Kurin. And on both sides, there's a long list of very highly talented, creative and accomplished professionals who have spent almost their entire careers, devoted their entire professional life working on the brand and the campaign. Which is why it has achieved the status which it has today. And one uniqueness about this campaign, which very few people know, the client sees this the same time the consumers do. In other words, the agency does not have to take the approval of the client before releasing the campaign. Of course, it has to come out every week, sometimes twice a week, and the logistics ensure that it can't happen. We have to give them the license to go ahead. But that also demonstrates the level of trust that exists between the client and the agency, and they also reciprocate our trust by acting in a very responsible manner. But of course, it's been a long time, and we can't simply avoid controversies all the time. So controversies, of course, happen, like this one here. But when we do run into rough weather, the client and the agency as a team together face the music. Just to give you a small instance among so many which has happened, this was in 1996, and it has a big resonance with the current environment. This topical was actually blacked out by none other than the Election Commission. Because that time the elections were happening and the model code of conduct was in place, and this visual had the symbol of a specific political party as part of the context. So when they did that, the very next day we had to come up with a rejoinder, and this was a rejoinder. So, it started as an outdoor campaign, and for a very long time it remained as such. But then over a period of time, we did scale up, we did translate into other media, first into print, then it went into television, now of course into digital, social media. So today you can see it in every week on 28 dailies, is a few television channels, the animated versions, and of course on Twitter, Facebook, and the entire digital world. Is there something I would like you to take back from the session? It is, if something is not working well for you and the brand, please don't change it. There's a very, very strong temptation on both sides, the agency and the client. Even if something is working successfully for them, there's a strong temptation, there's a fatigue factor. They just want to change it because maybe someone new has come in, maybe someone wants to leave his mark or her mark on the campaign or on the brand. So that is what happens. There are so many instances, I'm sure you can also recall, of something which has been running so well, so successfully, and was dropped all of a sudden for no rhyme or reason, and today is gone out of our minds. I don't want to, dwell more on that. I'm sure all of us know these instances. And if I have been able to create the impression, the wrong impression, that this topical campaign is the only thing that we do in terms of out-of-home advertising, let me dispel that right away. We do a lot more than that. You have seen a lot of train branding around you, right? This is probably one of our first. This is railway engine branding. On long distance trains too, the ones which cut across several states and chug into dozens of platforms. And just imagine, this railway locomotive is going from Bombay to Delhi and even further, and this will be chugging into so many railway platforms, railway stations, and this is probably one of the things that we did which hadn't been done before. Of course, we do all the conventional stuff also, the bus shelter and so on, and the graphics on our vans, pushcards for high streams and high traffic locations, billboards, and all the conventional stuff. I mean, you have seen that, you know much more about this. Kiosks outdoors and within malls. This canopy, I believe, is outside a church actually. Retail point of sale, that's a staple, and we do a lot of that, of course. All the wall paintings, a lot of conventional stuff. Let me conclude this presentation with a message and request to all the agencies present here, whether from out-of-home industry, out-of-home media, or even the creative agencies if there are any. And this is probably on behalf of all the brand owners, right? And this I would really request you to please listen to this. Please make a genuine effort to put yourself in the shoes of your clients' customers. Use research, use genuine research, and get some good insights before you start even working on a campaign. Or this is what is going to happen. This creative may look very clever, but let me assure you, any customer driving down the road and trying to figure out this billboard is likely to have a car accident. Please take 2 steps forward. Go and meet your clients' customers. Talk to them. Try and understand what makes their world, how they spend their day. You know, be a part of their life for once and try and understand them. Also, all clients have different stories, different set of packages. They come with their own histories. It would be very useful on your part to make a good effort to understand the client and his business model, which may be very different from their stated mission statement. And also make an effort to understand the industry dynamics of the industry and the environment in which the client operates. That is going to be useful insight for you once you start working on a campaign. Anything that you propose, any solution that you propose has got to be integrated with everything else that is happening around in that environment. Never propose anything which is piecemeal or standalone. Any solution, any campaign that you want to start working on, please think, how can it be built further upon? How can it be scaled up? Of course, as media agencies, it is your duty on behalf of the client to look for, discover, and explore more and more new media options. And that is how you're going to genuinely add value to your client's business. As media agencies, as creative agencies, you are the custodian of your client's budget, which means the budget is already with you. How effectively, how wisely you utilize this budget actually determines your future budgets. And one more thing, this is something, I know most of the big agencies are based in the bigger cities, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, and so on. But please remember, consumers live even beyond. So when you start thinking about a campaign, don't just start thinking in English. Campaign so requires, start thinking in the regional language, in the local vernacular language, in the context in which the campaign is going to be ultimately released. And try and think local, plan local, strategize local. If you do all this, there's nothing going to prevent you from taking your client's brand absolutely to the top.